Americans are looking weak. He knows the Americans got it wrong in Afghanistan. He knows they got it wrong in Iraq. He knows history. He knows they got it wrong in Vietnam. He's repeatedly saying, and the statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova, who said that February 15th will go down in history as the day Western war propaganda failed. What did that mean, Brian? What did that mean? Very clear statement out there. What did that mean? Why was that statement made by Maria?
I'm glad you asked that question, because I was just about to respond to the previous two guys there, George and Doug. Basically, this has damaged American credibility, whether you like it or not, because as we know, something has started in American media over the last decade, particularly with the Trump thing and so on and so forth afterwards, where a lot of the coverage is now completely driven by anonymous sources in the intelligence services in a way that wouldn't have happened 20 or 30 years ago. There was a time when anything that Spook said, when I started in journalism anyway, that was, you took it with a giant pinch of salt. Now, a lot of the news coverage is literally press releases for the intelligence agencies without any correction whatsoever. I mean, some intelligence spook talks to a reporter, especially with the internet now, it's not like newspapers before where things had to gestate over a day or two. It's online in a half an hour, and it's 3 sources with information, or this anonymous fella or this anonymous woman or whatever. And it is damaging credibility. We've seen it now from weapons of mass destruction to Russiagate to various things. And the credibility of the American media is certainly diminished from where it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago when I was a younger person. And, and I think what Maria Zakharova is getting at there is that it would not surprise me if a lot of this has been pushed by the Russians in order to damage the credibility of the American media even further, to bring it to the point where no one's going to believe them in future. I mean, if you go on Twitter or these social networks now,
Brian, are you suggesting? Are you suggesting? Because this is sorry to intervene.
Are you
suggesting?
In 2022.
Are you suggesting? Sorry to intervene. Are you suggesting that there's a possibility that all of this could have been planted by the Russians on the American and the Western media? That there's a war coming?
It's very possible that a lot of this intelligence is being planted by the Russians. It's very possible that the CIA and various agencies have got people in Moscow feeding them this stuff, and they think they're sources, and they're just laughing at them and playing them. And it's very possible. Look at Ukraine, for example. I know there's a man trying to get in there right now. Look at Kiev, for example. A source that I know, close to the Zelensky administration in Kiev, said to me the other day that when this all started back in October, November, the Kiev government, the present Kiev government, went along with it because they thought, oh, this is great, we're going to get loads of weapons out of this and money and so on. And then it just got so out of control that in the last few weeks, they've just been trying to control a monster. And as the speaker said, Ukraine is being used as a pawn here. And this is really between the Russians and the Americans. And the Ukrainians are, unfortunately, and on a personal level, I feel great empathy for them. They're stuck in the middle of 2 military superpowers, and they're the ones that are suffering. They're the ones that, economically are suffering.
I don't know, Brian, whether this is completely true or apocryphal, but the bottom line is a fascinating theory, Dove, that the entire world got into a fright. And I want to just bounce this off Alina, who's not spoken. She's in Ukraine. What do you think about this possibility that's being pushed here by Brian, that this whole thing was actually planted by the Russians, and the whole world got into a fright about, led by the Western media, about the possibility of a Russian, Russian invasion? Alina.
Yes, I believe the truth is somehow in the middle. So, of course, we want the aggression of Russia Federation, and we are ready to one new wave of this aggression. And we saw the troops near our borders, and we saw the block of Black Sea. On the other hand, of course, inside the Ukraine, we understand that the situation not really the way in which European and USA media interpret this, because we really feel calm in Ukraine, and really somehow when we see international media, it's really controversial feelings called.
No, I don't know who is using whom out here. We're getting confused. General Bakshi, how much of it is fiction and how much of it was a reality? Now we are asking ourselves the fundamental questions. Every news channel, every media outlet in the world today, Brian, is talking about the possibility of World War III. So yes, it's been a double-edged weapon. Putin has suddenly war-gamed this out, and if he has done the reverse engineering of it, whereas sort of General Bakshi, where he realizes he holds the cards. He decides when to pull back. He decides when to ease the pressure. He decides when to apply the pressure. But how is NATO going to look? How is America going to look at the end of this? General Bakshi from Delhi.
Arnab, absolutely. Let me make 3 quick points. Number one, the fact of the declaration of a partial withdrawal